Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Afi and I am back again with another video. If you're very like observant, but I don't know if you need to be very observant, you'll realize that I look the exact same way now than that I did in the last video. That's because I'm batch recording, just because I think for me it's just easier to batch record. Right now I'm in school, busy time of the year, and I felt like this would just make it easier for me to have my videos out when I want them to be out, instead of me feeling stressed and sad and blah blah blah. But yeah, so that's the reason. I think it's just easier. So today's video, as you can tell by the title, is my goals for 2021. I think this is one of those videos that is very interesting to do, because I feel like people are like not in between, but there's like people who are like, oh, I don't believe in like having yearly resolutions. I don't understand why a year is such a big deal, blah blah blah. Then there's those people who are like, I love it. I love to make resolutions, blah blah blah. And I feel like for me, because then those people who are like, I don't see a point, are like, why not make small like monthly goals or yearly goals or quarterly goals and just like keep doing that instead of just yearly goals and like new year resolutions, blah blah blah. And I think for me, it's just been an evolution of thought, because when I was younger, I was like, yeah, New Year resolutions, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think I've ever outright written New Year's resolutions like properly and like consciously. I think they were a lot like, I don't know if I've ever actually. I remember that a few years ago, maybe I was 16 or 15, I don't remember. I did this thing where I just like wrote a letter to myself or whatever, talking about how that year had been and just what I want for the next year. I think I did that in 2016 or 2017, maybe even 2018. I have no idea. But yeah, that's what I did then. And then 2018 to go 2019, I don't even remember if I did, but I remember 2018 towards the end, that's when I got my phone and I was so excited and happy. So I don't know if I actually did New Year's resolutions that year. And then 2019 went by, then 2019 to get into 2020, I remember telling myself that like something needs to change in my heart. And I think I've talked about it before. I was in some messy situation. I was like, something must change. And so I did that for 2019, 2020, and then 2020 something did change and I'm excited about that. And then 2020, 2021 is where we are now. And so yeah, I'm just going to be talking about how, like, my goals, I'm going to go into depth of it, but I'm also going to just talk about why I think it's important. The first thing is, I think it's important because it's important to have that. It's like a separation, sort of. I think 2020 was a difficult year for so many people, and I think because of that, first of all, I remember 2019, everybody was like, I can't wait for 2020, blah, 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 blah. And in my church specifically, 2020 was a very big year. And I remember there was so much hype for 2020. And then 2020 happened. And so now to get into 2021, I think people have been so scared to do like goals and stuff like that, because 2020 was the circus that it was. So people have been really scared. But I think it's important to set like attainable goals, and attainable in the sense of like stuff that does not necessarily require you to be traveling or to move or to be moving around or to, I don't know, like, I think being intentional about the kind of goals that you're setting now is so important, because before it was very acceptable to be saying, I want to travel and blah blah blah. And I actually have had a few people saying that they want to travel in 2021, which is such a cool thing. But I think because you just don't know how the world is right now, you're not very sure if you're going to be able to. So it's like a hope, but you're just like, I don't know. So I think it's better to set goals that are like more within your reach, in the sense of like some stuff that you can control, because you can control some things. I think 2020 taught us that we can't, that there's so much we cannot control, but I think it also showed that there's so much we can control. So that's something that I think is important. I think it's nice to have that new year feel like this is a new year, let me do something different, and not necessarily like it needs to be new year, new me. Actually, you know what I realized this year? I didn't see a lot of those messages that usually go around new year, new me, or like people who would say things like, if you I remember there was a lot of people in the past who used to be like, if you want something, if you want to tell me something, tell me now. I realized that I did not see a lot of that. I saw a few people, maybe like one or two actually. It wasn't very many people, but I saw a few people doing that, but I didn't see it as much as I usually do. Maybe it's because I've also been on my own thing, but I didn't see as much. So that was very interesting. Yes, that's why I think it's important. I think it's important to be looking to something. And in 2022 is next year, guys. I'm graduating. Anyway, in 2022, we can look back and be like, oh, this is how 2021 went. And, I'm happy or sad or whatever. Next, how to set achievable goals. I don't even know why I wrote this down as if I would know how to do it, but something that I did is there's so many video tutorials on the internet right now about achieving goals. Please watch those videos. I used Lavender. She's this YouTuber, and I really like her channel. It's very like peaceful and calm, and it gives me such good vibes. And yeah, so I used her videos, but I would say just think about something that is achievable. Don't say I was going to expose someone, so no. Let me think. I don't know, like just think about achievable stuff, like stuff that you can do. Like I can change my attitude towards this, or I can work towards doing this, or I can love my brother more, love my sister more, love my parents more, love my who more, whatever. Like I can try and live for the sake of others and not be too much into my head. I can try to be more positive. I can try to just all that stuff. I think a lot of internal stuff is stuff you can control, and I think it's nice. 2021 should be a year that you used to do that. I think 2020 we spent a lot of time saying, wow, hey, excuse me. But 2020, we spent a lot of time saying if you just existed, then it's fine. And I think that's okay. But I think then, like, you also need to wake up, like, it's fine to just exist. I think it's so important that you manage to make it through, but I think it's also important to remember that you need to wake up as well. Like we can't just wallow in self-pity. I think we can do that for a month. I think it's unhealthy to do that for 6 months. So yeah, just make a resolution to be alive, to do more, to push yourself just a bit more. It doesn't have to be extra pushing yourself like, oh my God, I'm going to make 50 friends. You don't have to do that. You can say, I'm going to make one friend. I'm going to strengthen this one friendship, and just stuff like that, I think, are good goals to have. And of course, you can do stuff like working out, the normal yearly goals that people say. What is it? Bikini body, all that stuff. It's interesting because that's one of my goals, but yeah, just do stuff like that. I think that makes it achievable. And something else I think that's important is actually showed like a breakdown of like you do like yearly goals, right? So what would you I remember actually I was in the middle of a workshop going into 2021, sorry. Going into 2021, I was in the middle of a workshop, and while we were doing our reflection, one of the questions was, when you look at like close your eyes and think about yourself in 2021. What would you like to see? Like, what kind of person would you like to be? So I think that's something interesting to think about. Like, how would you want to be in December 2021? And not in the sense of like, I have 3 million shillings, just in the sense of like, what kind of human being do you want to be? What kind of person, what kind of friend, what kind of, sister, mom, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a bit of like a good outlook to look at the yearly goals, right? And then you set monthly goals, like what are the small things you'll do every single month leading up for you to be able to be that person, right? And then the other thing is you said, oh wait, you should have done monthly, then quarterly goals, so like the first quarter of the year, second quarter, third quarter, and then monthly goals, and then weekly goals as well. I think are so important. Like, what is the one thing you're going to do this week? What's the one thing you're going to do next week? And just continuing like that. And then daily goals as well. Like, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? But not in the sense of like every day has to be planned and every day you must be doing something. I think that can be so dangerous. And that's why I said resting is important for me in 2021. So I think it's important to even have a rest day. I think for me, honestly, I want to get to December 2021 and say I fully worked and I fully like rested as well. I don't want it to be like I've worked. Now December I'm dead, like I have to take it completely off, because I think that's what I did in 2020. Don't think very productive. I'm going to do a whole December recap. It's going to come later on, but I'm going to do a December recap, and I will talk about all that stuff. Yeah, so I think that's about it for just like the overview. Wow, 10 minutes of an overview, guys. I'm very sorry, but I hope you've enjoyed that. So next I'm going to go into my goals and how I decided to do it. So as I said earlier, I used the Lavender video of like goal setting, yearly setting, blah, blah, blah. And she started, and I don't have my book where I did the whole breakdown. And I think I've mentioned it before. Usually I do a monthly breakdown. And so I use one book to do all that stuff. It's been so helpful. I've done it since I think June or May. I can't even remember. But it has been the most helpful. I guess maybe December is when I was a bit wishy-washy about it. But it has been the best. I actually highly, highly recommend. Okay, so the first thing she said was, and if you like, you could actually do your whole yearly goal setting right now. Honestly, I don't think it's ever too late to do it. I think next year, then maybe you can start earlier if you like. But I think, it's never too late. It's really never too late. So the first thing you do is use a word, set a theme. That's the thing. Set a theme for your year. So my theme is love. That's what I decided to use as my theme. And last year, I was very big on self-love and just getting to a place of just like loving myself and understanding my worth and being in a place where I'm very confident. And I guess I saw that deteriorate sort of in December, leading up to January even. I guess that's why also I stopped doing videos. I don't know. It's a whole thing. December recap is coming. So anyway, my theme is love, loving myself, but most of all, loving others and living for the sake of others. I think last year I spent a lot of time in my head and getting to know myself, and that was great. Oh my God, I'm so grateful I took that time. But I noticed that I did not live for the sake of others as much as I would want to. And so, yeah, that's what I decided to do. So this year, I'm loving people. I am trying my hardest to be as loving as I can to everybody around me, all my friends, all my, just everyone, right? Because I think, and it's been difficult. It's been very, very difficult this past week. It's been very hard, but next week is a different week, so hopefully I will be different. But yeah, so just loving people and living for the sake of others and being more open to doing stuff for others, not only about like what makes me happy, but what makes somebody else happy. And that's not to say that I should neglect myself, because I guess there's a balance, and maybe 2022 I'll be trying to strike that balance. But yeah, just living for the sake of others. That's my theme. And then I went into spiritual goals. So I divided my goals into different stuff. So the first one is spiritual goals. And I basically wrote that I wanted to be more involved in activities around like my church and stuff like that. And anyone that knows me knows I'm very involved. But I think what I meant here was like just more in my heart. I think if I was involved, but I was not happy doing it. And I don't know if I will be happy doing it. I think sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, this thing does not give me no joy. It gives me absolutely no joy, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I guess for me, I just want to be in a place where I'm doing it joyfully and doing it with all my heart and just being like thinking about other people more than myself. I remember we had a Hunduke condition going on and I was asked to read, and I remember thinking, no, I don't want to do it. But then in my head, I remember thinking, it's not about me, it's about God. It's about Heavenly Parent, and it's about all the other people. So it's not about me. Sometimes it's not all about you. That's something that I'm trying to remind myself a lot in 2021. And the next spiritual goal is reading more spiritual content. And what I mean here is I would like to, first of all, I'm doing a Bible plan, Bible in a year, which is great. I really, really love that. Highly recommend. So hopefully by the end of 2021, I will have finished the Bible cover to cover. I'm so excited for that. I wanted to do that in 2020, but I did not manage. So that makes me really sad. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will be able to do that. And last year I did like Divine Principle study, and I did like reading Reverend San Myung Moon's autobiography, which was the best thing. I highly, highly recommend. You can find it on Amazon. I saw it on Amazon. So I read that, and that was really, really good. It was very helpful for my faith. I also did like a few books of the Bible, so that was really, really nice as well. So this yeah, I want to read more spiritual content. Just in that sense of like finishing the Bible, reading, like even maybe doing more devotionals, reading more books also that are like faith based and stuff like that. Don't know if I will actually, but I have a list of books that I wrote down, but that I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, fine. Let's move on. So those are my spiritual goals. And so yeah, then my next goals are health and fitness goals. And these sound so intense when I say health and fitness, but I just mean that I want to be able to either to walk, yeah, take like daily walks, like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, because I realized last year actually while I was in my semester, and this past week the exact same thing happened. I have not left my house in 5 days. Like 5 days straight, I have not been able to leave my house because all I've been doing is doing work. Like I've just been doing work, and that's so frustrating. So I'm trying to either do home workouts, take a walk, but especially taking a walk, like just leaving the house, I think is something that is very, very important for me. So I'm hopefully gonna do that this year more and more. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that's something I want to do. Hopefully in the future I'm going to start running as well, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know, we're going to see. We're going to see how that goes, you know. And then also eating more mindfully and not being strict on myself, because last year I was very, very strict on myself. I wasn't eating sugar, I wasn't doing this, blah blah blah. Then I remembered in December I just wanted to do it all. Like I just wanted to eat it all. So instead of holding myself back like that, I think I just need to be more mindful of what I'm eating and just be more careful about it. I think that's going to help a lot. So yeah, those are my health and fitness goals. Then number 3, financial goals. And I say that very loosely because everybody knows I'm not earning money yet. But ultimately, I want to save more. I think 2021 is a year that I'm going to intentionally be saving, and I'm very excited for that. I started like November 2020, so I'm very excited for that. Hopefully, by the end of this year, I will, have saved a bit of money to do stuff that I really want to do. So, yeah, I'm saving more. The third thing is whatever. I don't know. Next thing is education goals. My education goals are to be more proactive with schoolwork. Last year, I think I tried my hardest to be more proactive, but I don't know. By the end of the semester, I was exhausted. Like I remember thinking the semester was ending, then it wasn't ending, and then I was just like, it's not over. I'm so confused. I'm so tired. Blah blah blah. So I'm just intending to be more proactive, and by that I mean I want, if you follow me on social media, then you know I've been trying to learn French. And so that's something that I'm taking very seriously this semester. I am listening to French music. Thanks for the recommendations, guys. I am just doing all those things. Like I'm really trying to be more proactive, and not only in French, I'm really trying to like study more and like just go through my lecturer's notes and things like that. Don't think I've done a very good job at it this week because I don't know, I feel like I've just been so flooded this week and I don't know what to do. Hopefully next week will be so much better. Like I'm very, very optimistic about that. But yeah, so I just want to be more proactive. I'm getting into my 4th year as well in the next quarter of this year, so I'm just like I don't know. So anyway, that's just what's going to happen. So I'm excited. The next thing are personal goals. So all of those are sort of like categories that I made. And the next ones are personal goals. And here I wanted to be more creative. Just allowing myself to be creative. I think I've been very, very scared to say things that I wanted to say and whatever. But I remember when we went on holiday in December, it wasn't like a cooked up situation, but it sort of was. But I remember experiencing something and just writing down this poem type song like thing, basically. And it was very fascinating to me just writing it down the way I did. And I had never done that before, and I was so excited about that, and I loved doing it like that. And I sent it to my friend, and we had an entire conversation about it. It was very interesting, and I remember thinking, this is what I want to do. Like this gives me so much joy, just being creative. So, and it's nice to do it for myself. I think so many people are pushing me to be like, oh, we want to hear you singing. Oh, we want to hear you doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm grateful. Don't get it twisted. I'm very grateful. But I think I'm just enjoying doing stuff for myself. I think I have to allow myself to be creative in the way that I can. Because for so long, I have wanted to please everybody, and I have wanted to not show that I am imperfect, but I am imperfect. And so I think 2021 is a year that I am allowing myself to be imperfect in public, which is difficult, but it's gonna work. Then the next thing is I want to color more. I bought a coloring book, and I have like a 2021 must-haves video. If you haven't watched it, I will link it down below. And coloring is one of my favorite things. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I post that I'm coloring almost every single day. Like every day this week, the one thing I've done is color. Like I just take an hour off of doing work and I color and listen to like French music, which has been great actually. That has been my favorite pastime. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. So every single day, an hour a week, an hour a day, I've been coloring, and that has been such a nice release and just a nice way to get off of my phone, get off of my laptop, just get off of technology and stress and all that work, and just doing stuff that I enjoy. The next thing is about YouTube. For sure, I want to talk more about my church. If you haven't noticed, I didn't talk about my church a lot last year, but I've tried more and more in the videos that I've done leading like in this year to talk more and more about that. So I think I want to do that a lot more and talk about being a second gen and just what that means and how my life has been and just all that stuff. I think it's gonna be nice, because ultimately when I was starting this channel, I wanted to be a second gen on the internet because I don't see a lot of that. So I'm a bit excited to do a bit of that. I also want to talk more about like school stuff and internship stuff and just all that stuff. I think that's something that I would really, really like to talk about, because I'm a very busy person and I feel like I say it a lot, but I don't really talk about it that much. And I think it would be helpful for other people just to sort of like give tips on what I think helps. And I wouldn't say that I know for sure, because I'm not employed currently. So I don't know if everything I'm doing will lead up to something, but I genuinely believe it will lead up to something. So I think it'll be nice to talk about all that stuff and to talk about my CPL internship that I did last year, November. I've said I wanted to do that, and I will do that, and I'm going to talk about everything else. So yes, I would love to do that as well. Of course, I want to use my planner more. I made an entire planner for myself, and I'm still tweaking it and changing it and just making stuff, and I really want to do more of using it this year. I started using planners in June 2020, and it has been a great help, honestly. Doing daily to-do lists, stuff like that. I do to-do lists on my phone. I just do to-do lists. I love that. So using my planner so much more, yeah, that's one of my plans as well. And then another goal is to make more time for my friends. I think last year it was very easy for us to not see each other, which was fine. We're all going through whatever we're going through, but 2021 is a year that I would like to make more time for my friends and just be more intentional about it. But I feel like I did a pretty good job, actually. Like with most of my friendships, I think we are quite strong now through quarantine, which is great. I think yeah, so I'm just grateful about that. I guess 2020, I want to be more intentional with it. But something else that I want to do is like go out for lunches. Yeah, I want to go out for lunch more with my friends, and so I think that's going to be fun to do. And yeah, but I also, you know what, actually, another thing that I wanted to do, financial goals, is budget. So saving, but budgeting as well. And I started it, and I don't know how it's gonna go. This is my first month, so check back in 4 months, 5 months, we'll see. So that's gonna be nice. And then the next thing is diversify the music I'm listening to. That's what I wrote, because 2020 was full of Taylor Swift music. Anybody that knows me knows all I did was listen to Taylor Swift. All I did was talk about Taylor Swift, and that's all I did. And I know by this time, all my friends have had it up to here about that. Like they are tired. And so I'm very sorry. I apologize. So 2021 is a year that I'm going to diversify my music. I'm going to listen to different genres. I'm going to listen to different people. I'm going to listen to just different stuff. I think, yeah. And so I've been doing that, actually. I've been enjoying listening to other people. Of course, I'm still listening to Taylor Swift. That's never going to change. But I've really, really enjoyed listening to different and French music, incorporating French music into my daily like stuff that I'm listening to. I'm actually currently in love with the song. I think it's called Formidable by Stromae. And for sure, guys, I'm not speaking proper like French, but it's like Formidable, and it's nice. And it's such a nice song. It's by Stromae. So listen to it. It's so good. Like I love that song. I think I listen to it every single day since I first listened to it. And that my friend recommended it. And Thank you very much. I appreciate it because that song, it's made it into my heart. I love it. And so yeah, I'm very open to new music and I'm excited. Another goal I have is to read the books that I had bought. I think I talk about it in another video. Like, I bought a couple of books last year and I got some from friends and blah blah blah, and I didn't read most of them. I've been in school, I've been busy. But this year, 2021, I'm trying not to buy any books. So I'm basically not gonna buy any book until I finish the books that are on my reading list. And I have a reading list actually. I use Google Sheets, and I basically wrote a reading list of like faith-based books, autobiographies and biographies, and then other books. And so yeah, that's my intention now, to read all those books, hopefully. And I think they lead up to maybe 10, more than 10 could be, maybe like 20 books. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have read all those books, and that's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait and I think I'm actually going to be doing like I'm going to be doing like a book a month or a book in 2 months. I don't know. It just depends because I feel like I'm doing so much, so I might not be able to, but I'm hopefully going to be able to do like book reviews, like more book reviews. If you haven't watched my Real Love in Dating book reviews, please watch those. I have more chapters coming up actually, probably in February. Yeah, I have more chapters coming up, so, and hopefully I'll have more book reviews, towards. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is a very long video. If you've gotten here, you are a real one, and I genuinely love and appreciate you. And if you loved this video, please give it a thumbs up. Honestly, if you've reached here, just give it a thumbs up so that I know who got to the end of the video. So so that I know who got to the end of this video, give it a thumbs up because you're here, right? And the people who haven't gotten to this part will not give it a thumbs up. Then I'll know who are the real ones, So that helps me a lot. So thank you. Just, give it a thumbs up right now. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Turn on the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post a new video. Also, don't forget to comment anything that you want to comment. Say hi to me. I love being in the comments. I genuinely enjoy it. So please comment hi, hello, I'm good, I'm here. Whatever you want to comment, I genuinely appreciate it. So yes, and I will see you next time. Bye.